And I was going to answer, like, back in the day, some people thought that writing, because that's a technology, right? You're putting words on paper. Writing was going to make us dumber because then you're not using your photograph. You're not developing your memory. Because, like, ancient druids. Sorry, I've been going into this shit. Ancient druids, they didn't have anything written down. Everything was like, psh.
I'd be fucked. Oh, can we say that?
You can say whatever you want, man.
I'd be fucked then because my memory's horrible.
Well, yeah, that's because that's because you got has it always been bad, or is it from fighting?
Nah, I think it's a combination of multiple concussions and age. You know, because I'm pushing 50 now, so it's like,
no shit.
Yeah, I'll be 48 in July, so that doesn't help either. And then I think memory overload too, like doing too. I have ADD, man. I've just discovered this at like it's self-diagnosis, but I just discovered this recently. I'm like, I don't think my attention span's horrible. Like I have to be doing a lot of things. I can't concentrate on one thing unless I really focus hard.
So let me ask you that: is that something that's come about from looking at social media and shit, or is that?
I think that doesn't help.
Yeah, because everyone I know is You if I say, hey, this is a cell phone, that's a pager, and this is a rainbow. A person will just be like, pager, my friend's got a pager. Yeah. Like, they didn't hear anything. They just hear, like, these words.
Yeah. That's true, man, because I've been reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
You know, some of it I agree with. Some of it's a little...
What do you agree with, and then what don't you agree with?
Well, I agree with one of the things is the listening part. So one of the habits is seek to understand before you seek to be understood.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Which, because a lot of people, including myself, I feel myself this way. And I think part of it's memory is that I feel like I have to get out what I'm thinking now or else I'll forget about it. Yeah. But a lot of people are just waiting to speak. Probably the majority of people are just waiting to speak without actually listening to what's being said.
I'm gonna be 1,000% real with you, man. I was living in LA for like 20 years. So I was around cokeheads all the fucking time. They have a better attention span than the new shit right now. Like, I'll talk to a cokehead all day over a fucking somebody that's been TikToked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you're right.
Yeah, they're zoned in on something, man, for sure. Like, but I would say, I mean, that was one of the things that I got out of it. I mean,
what didn't you agree with?
I'm getting near the end of the book. I'm not a fast reader. I read about 10 pages a day. That's enough for me, right? Because I gotta try to. I don't read quickly. I'm an avid reader, but I don't read quickly. Yeah. I get my attention span. I'll veer off if I try to just. I'm like, I'm gonna do 20 pages. I'm not gonna remember probably the second 10 that I went through. Yeah. But it's getting into like listening to your kids, right? So I have 3 kids. 2 of them are adults already. And my youngest one's about to be 14, and they're all different. Yeah. The youngest one's probably the most difficult in the way of he's real headstrong, man, very intelligent. Yeah. Which makes it harder sometimes to reason with him because he's, I don't know, the level, for his age. Yeah. But I found myself being, because I'm a disciplinarian, man. Like I don't roll with just like let your kids do whatever. The new way, Like,
thank you, bro.
And I go to all the conferences. I'm involved in my kids' lives, right? But I tell the teachers too exactly my methods. Yeah. I don't beat my kids. I don't have to. No. But I did find myself, being more like discipline. Maybe I'm not hearing what he's saying. So that's where the seek to understand before, you seek to be understood comes in. But they're just giving methods like kind of just like they were using an example like your son wanted to drop out of school because his buddy Billy was opening up a auto mechanic shop and he dropped out and he's making all this money. And they're in the book they're telling me like, oh, so you're saying that, you think you do better if you dropped out of school. And it was going on, and it was kind of
like having a discussion.
Yeah, getting the kid to second guess his own logic, right? Right. Only kids aren't that simple, especially kids that have their own mind,
A smart motherfucker will reason their way into anything. Yeah. My uncle's real smart, and this motherfucker right now, he's hanging out with fucking prostitutes in Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, and somehow, like, he logically got to that point. Yeah. So but your brain is dangerous.
It is very dangerous. It's very powerful, man. Yeah. Whichever way it's going, whether it's you're trying to manifest success in your life or you're manifesting destruction, it wins.
Yes.
Yeah,
man.
And that's it. So, and I feel myself like that. I think I'm a very productive person. A lot of it's out of guilt, though. Like, guilt drives me because I'm very disciplined in a lot of ways. Like for instance, like the gym, right? My wife and I would I do for sure. She sometimes will veer off, but we're up at 4:30, go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning. And right now, because I'm in real estate now.
Yeah.
Days are really long. Things are bumping. It's just crazy. But I make sure I do that because if I do not, then I got to fight with myself in my own mind about why didn't you do this and you're a piece of shit. So it's like I'll guilt myself into keeping routine, keeping structure.
You kind of have to in a lot of This is what I found. My grandma taught me this. It's like just whatever you do, like what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, so there is somewhere. Hey man, I'm supposed to do this shit. I said it to myself. I'm gonna do it. You got to do it. Because every time you don't do that shit, you're like, you're a bitch. You're weak. You're a bitch. That's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
So she'd always use she smoked cigarettes. And you ever see people like, oh, I shouldn't be smoking a cigarette. Like that's worse than smoking a fucking cigarette.
Right.
Because you have to, like you shouldn't be doing it, why are you doing it? You're telling you're giving yourself mixed signals.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost what do they call it? An enabler. You're enabling yourself. I shouldn't be doing this, but I am because I do it.
You're weakening your resolve.
Yeah. But I wish because as I don't know, Rich mentioned, but I used to fight mixed martial arts, so that was my start.
Clearly, bro.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, I know, right? What knows?
I know, man.
But when a little backstory, when I started, no one even knew what to call it. I was like one of the pioneers in Michigan,
Yeah, like when you were like, what UFC was out when you was like probably like 30?
Maybe, yeah, because they were still on VHS, I think, in 2000. Because I started fighting 99, 2000. And there were a lot of guys that started fighting before me. Even like Dan Severn was the original OG from Michigan, right from Coldwater, and fought in the UFC one of the tournaments. In those days, like, holy shit, there's guys that can do this, right? I was still a teenager, and I was writing the VHS tapes, and it was like every couple of months. So it still wasn't big, man. Like, people knew about it, but it wasn't like mainstream. Like it got to be like around 2005.
Yeah.
But skipping back, when I first started doing it, it was called. It wasn't called mixed martial arts.
Was it Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, Ultimate Fighter, cage fighting, NHB. For no holds barred, Vale Tudo, which was a Brazilian or Portuguese, I guess, for no rules. But no one really knew what to call it. There weren't any real set of rules.
Were they doing the elbows and shit?
When you kick to the head on the ground. In fact, they stopped the kicks to the head on the ground, I think, because of me.
Whoa.
In Michigan, I kicked this dude in the head while he was on his hands and knees, but it was legal. Monkey stomp, you jump in there, hold the cage, like stomp. And it was it was brutal, but there were still rules, but there were no time. Like, time limits are very long. Like my first 2 pro fights, which I made almost no money at all. Oh, that was probably most of my career. Was $300. I fought 30 minutes, 2 fights back to back. 2 months apart. But I got my ass. My very first fight, man, this big country boy from West Virginia just beat my ass for about 20 to 30 minutes. I came back and just beat the shit out of him.
So what was that?
He got tired from beating on me.
So it was a war of attrition. You're just like, I'm still here.
I learned how tough I was, though. So I learned something. See, that was where I figured out that you can get something something positive out of everything negative. I didn't really think of it that way at the moment, but I learned later on that, oh man, I can take a beating, so maybe I can do this. Then I thought maybe I don't want to do this,
What were you? Where are you from? Like, where are you from originally?
Hazel Park.
So all right. So Hazel Park, for people that don't know, that's like they call that Hazel Tucky. It's it's fucking. It was working class. It was working class white boys out there.
A lot of Southern hillbillies.
Yeah, because everybody came up from down south to work. Yeah. Tell me, like, that. There's a certain y'all some scrappers out there.
Yeah.
They had a racetrack there too. Well, did that help your? That must have made you tougher, huh?
Yeah, in a way. Well, this is the thing. This is my backstory, man. It's so backwards, man. So I came from first of all, both my parents were married and are still married. Which in Hazel Park, no one comes from a family that's still, the nucleus is still together, right?
Broke.
So I had that, and I was my mother was very overprotective. I'm very tight with my mother and my father to this day, but back then it was like she's really overprotective and didn't let me do a lot. So I was scared of everything, man, including fighting. I never got in one fight in school ever, right? As a kid, adolescent, And then when I got to be a teenager and I got a little bit bigger, I started wrestling. And then when I graduated, is when I started getting in fights in bars, but not like picking on people, like fighting guys that picked on other people.
So you was like Superman. You're like, wait, hold on a second, sir. Did you just call that other fella a bitch? And just
I interject myself into situations, you know. And it worked out. I never got beaten up, and then I started getting into martial arts.
See, that's where the mind works, right? It's like I feel like whooping someone's ass. Yeah. No one's fucking with me, right. So I think I'll be a superhero. I'm a vigilante now, and I'm making the world a better place. Right. Yo, that's funny, man.
And I didn't know how to fight, man. Like I knew how to wrestle, so I could at least get him to the ground and beat him up on the ground. My stand up was terrible. And
well, how were you doing? What was your record out there? Like
in mixed martial arts?
No, in the fucking street fights.
I never lost. Yeah. You know, well, in my mind, I never got knocked out. I never got knocked down. I would fight a couple guys at one time, oftentimes, you know, like certain situations or more. We go up to the like Eastern and look for fights up there with the wrestling team and stuff. And it was a bunch of renegades, man.
Man, well, it's like you gotta. It's like when girls go through puberty and they get their new titties and they want to show them off, it's like you guys just got your muscles and shit, got your fight. Like let's just go, wreck somebody.
No skill at all, you know. Like it's funny though because when you think you know the most, you know the least. Right? Yeah, I think in life in general, man. Like the more you learn about any subject, you realize how little you actually know.
Fuck yeah, dog. You know? Yeah.
And that was where it started with me, was the fighting. And then when I started learning more, I started thinking, I thought I was a badass at first when I first started doing it. I'm like, so I was doing like jiu-jitsu and judo. And then I got sick of just the grappling part of it, wrestling, because I did that for many years anyway. I started getting the striking part, and I really liked it. And then I started taking fights. And but that's where it came along, man. I actually got into fighting because I was so scared to fight. So my whole mentality was, I started off afraid of everything.
Right.
And my goal was to be afraid of nothing. Right. Yeah. And I went through that phase and was successful for a long time until I got to be probably later in life with kids and stuff. And as my kids got older, you know, like the fear of losing them, you know, not the fear of myself. I still am not scared of much. I mean, I'm not going to say afraid of anything, but nothing really like another human can do to me has already been done mostly.
Yeah, they probably just break their fucking hand on you.
Yeah, I'm dumb, man. Like, you can't really do anything. Like, my chin got better.
You got a thick neck, man.
Yeah, I've been knocked out a couple of times in my pro fights.
Yeah.
Bad, too. And what actually happened, it knocked some wires loose, I think, because then it went to I couldn't get knocked out.
For real?
Yeah, usually your chin gets worse.
Usually you become punchy.
Better. Yeah, it was weird, man. But yeah, so I went from fear of everything to, you know, fear of pretty much
Bro, you do look like you could, like, if we put you back in time, you might be in some like on the shores of Ireland, snatching up somebody and just fucking taking the monk's silver and melting it down.
I think I would have done all right then, man. My mentality is pretty well suited for that, you know. But
just because I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, what's it called? There was a book about the people from down south coming up to work in the plants. And so many people don't understand that about Michigan, is that we have such a people used to think I was from down south when I was in LA.
Yeah.
And what was it like? What was the neighborhood like where most of the population came from, like Kentucky and Tennessee and like all that?
Yeah, well, like, as you know, Kentucky then, not now, but then was all Southerners, all my friends. Yeah. Either, well, the rights are related to everybody, for one thing. And we got to be friends later in life. But, you know, my best friend, his parents from the South, they were from Virginia. Yep. I mean, Southern, just, you know, thick accents. You know, most of our friends all had Southern roots except for me. I was a Yankee, man, through and through. Like,
where's your people from?
My dad's from Highland Park.
Okay.
So, during the 50s and 60s and the riots. And then my mom's from Hazel Park still. My parents have been in Hazel Park for 60 years, yeah. I lived in Highland Park for the first year of my life, I think. I was in a house fire. That could have been the end of me then. My grandma saved me from a house fire. My dad's mom, which I never met.
Man, they still having house fires out there.
Still having houses. Dude, all houses are gone. On Buena Vista Street, man, across from the Ford plant.
Yeah,
off Woodward, man. That was the street.
Highland Park is, for people, people that don't know, it's rough. So tell me, like, what was that culture like? How much of the Southern culture was brought into Hazel Park?
Well, I think it was definitely racist, man. I mean, for real racism, though. It wasn't like what people think racism is today.
Yeah.
It was like, it was just straight up, right? I'm not me. I wasn't.
Right.
Actually, my dad being from Highland Park, you would think being white and getting his ass kicked all the time would be, oh, thank you. Yeah, you would think that, I might have grown up in a racist household, but I wasn't, man. It was the opposite. We weren't allowed to say anything. Like, what my friends were saying. What I mean?
What was were they scrappy? Were they like scrappier?
Yeah, I mean, my group wasn't until I got into high school and started wrestling. Then I started coming up around people that either knew how to fight or liked to fight, or people wanted to fight them. And so,
were you the brains of the operation?
I wouldn't say I was the brains. I think I was always real mild mannered, know, until I wasn't. Yeah. But that didn't really come out again, like I said, till later on. I was still kind of developing. I probably didn't even have like facial hair until I was like graduated high school, like 18.
Were you one of them dudes too?
Yeah.
I was man. I like
late, man.
It makes you have to use your wits more.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you're in a closed in room and your nuts haven't dropped yet and you're fucking dealing with a fucking grown ass man, like a little tiny grown ass man. You gotta get clever quick, bro.
Oh yeah, man. The dude that hit full puberty in 7th grade.
Yeah, man.
Here you are, like you're changing in the bathroom.
Yeah,
got no nut hair.
Yo, bro, straight up, I keep my t-shirt on so no one can see my little fucking 4-year-old dick, man. It fucking suck, man.
But yeah, it was but see, back then too. So in the 80s and 90s, when I was growing up, it was still fashionable for grown men to fuck with little kids.
Yeah, bro.
So like, I never got picked on people my own age normally, right? It'd always be like the grown ass dude that lived down the street, a real hillbillies, like hang their deer from the front street. We're in a subdivision, you know what I mean? And fuck you on Halloween, pushing around, parents have to come up and intervene, getting chased in a car while you and your boy are on bikes, it was stuff like that.
I kind of miss, I gotta tell you, I kind of miss that, man. I miss the danger of, because I'm like Pontiac, so I grew up like, I was Italian, like I was the only he's Italian, man. So I know. All the white people I knew was from Kentucky, and it was Meemaw and Peepaw and cooking with shortening and shit.
Yeah.
Fried bologna sandwiches and the whole nine, man. So it was kind of cool, man. I like that we're like this little weird melting pot of just fucking everywhere in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan's pretty real, man. Like all this stuff that again, back to the internet, the shit that's like rotting your mind, making you think things that aren't really, is like the Midwest is real people, man. Like we all live the same struggles and pretty much all, coexist.
Yeah, bro.
Equally, man. Especially in Michigan, especially in Warren. I'm still in Warren, right? My wife and I, we didn't move during the upheaval of all the selling market. We were banging. Making money. We just stayed. We're like, fuck it, we'll stay in here for a while.
So Warren's like a working class. It's the second biggest city in Michigan, right on the other side.
Yeah, second or third.
Is it?
But it goes from, so there's Southern Warren, you got 8 Mile and Van Dyke.
Yep.
And then there's
That's
North
like Eminem's
Warren.
from that area, right?
Yeah, what's that?
Eminem's from that area?
Yeah, like towards the Quinder area. He's like Lincoln.
I don't mean to keep interjecting all the time, but like it's people from all over are seeing it, so I just want them to understand when you say these words, so they can like okay, Warren, they can get a picture. So you were saying,
but and then you have the north part of Warren, which is you got 14 Mile and Shaner, and you have like $300,000, $400,000 cribs there, and then you got $60,000. It might be more than that now, but they're very low price, low price housing. So it's a big variety of people in one city. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, we're all living the same life. A lot of stuff you're hearing on the internet, whatever happened out west or the East Coast, is not happening in the Midwest, man. Not that I've seen, and I talk to everybody, man.
Right.
I'm out there conversing with everybody everywhere. Post office, I'm at the fucking bathroom at the gym, sitting in the sauna, whatever. Every place I go, I'm having conversations, like real conversations with people, not just texting and online. And I mean, it seems regular to me, like normal, for the most part, anyway.
Man, what do you mean by like what like normal? How like what do you mean stuff that you hear is going on? And I'm just out of just to clear it up.
The real extremist stuff, one way or the other. Like riots, for instance, when all that stuff was going on.
Bro, I was in LA for that shit, man. It was
probably
real.
The worst place, yeah.
It was fucking real, man.
Uh-huh.
I was wearing a coat with I'm playing backgammon, and they just start coming down Melrose, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I got a coat on with an American flag on that bitch.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at my car. I got my car right there. I'm like, oh shit. So I turn my coat around. I'm like, yeah, fuck that shit, man. And I kind of just go on through there. And they was snatching motherfuckers up out the car.
Yeah.
They was looking for white people, man.
Yeah.
They was hunting whites. They were hunting Caucasians, and they was snatching motherfuckers up out the car. They see motherfucker in like a Prius, like, oh, I know it's a white boy.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, bro. It was happening, bro. It was happening.
Here, it's not, man. Like Detroit held it down. Our police force wasn't fucking with any of that shit.
How much money they put
cams.
in? How much money they put in? They was like, yo, bro, we not doing this.
Yeah, and the body cams was like a Detroit thing. I mean, I don't know if that's where it originated, but they were like, the chief of police was like, we're recording everything, even the shooting. The one guy that got shot trying to take the cop's gun.
Yeah.
If that wasn't recorded, that would have been a shitty deal, just like all these other cities where cops are getting taken down. I'm on the side of the police, man. Like I believe authority is necessary.
I agree.
Because you can see what happens when it isn't. You don't want vigilantism, man, running your city.
And some motherfuckers are stupid, bro. You just can't reason with, like you said, like you just can't reason with shit. And it's all they understand is force.
Yeah.
Like motherfuckers like, yo, and it's like, yo, if I do this, if I take this and you don't slap my hand, I'm gonna take this even more. And you're literally, an inaction is action.
Yup.
So
no, absolutely, man.
And the problem is a lot of people that are trying to make things better, they're thinking from a very myopic point of view where they only think, well, how would I like to be treated? It's like, yo, you can't treat everybody the way you like to be treated. You have to try to take a walk in their shoes and think how they think.
Right. Yeah, empathic, man. That's...
This episode has been brought to you by Buttfuck, only by Luxury Loud. Just kidding. We don't have Buttfuck, but we do have Tongue Kiss at Luxury Loud.
Well, that's actually another one out of the book. You know, being empathetic with other people's situations, you know?
Yeah.
But that means that both people have to be doing that, not just one, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
How would I like to be treated? What do I care about and what's important to me? Because even if say you do, like, and I'm not into activist groups of any side or political affiliation, because I think it's too much, man. It's just too much. But if you're an activist, you only care about your cause. You don't care about anyone else.
Yeah,
right?
No, that's right. That's right.
You know?
And it's like these cats I've seen time and time again, they're not standing on principle. They just want things.
Right.
They're just literally begging. And that's the other thing. It's like, dog, when we become such bitches, like, yo, man, I'm gonna cry to dad until I get what I want. It makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, man, because like I said, just because I grew up a certain way, again, it's not just because it happened to me, but I do probably raise my kids similarly, not exactly the way I grew up, because I did get hit and stuff, but it was a different time, you know what I mean? I don't hold it against my parents. It toughened me up.
Bro, I think you should be able to hit your kids and your wife. I'm dead ass, bro. It needs to be on the table. It needs to be on the table.
You have that book from the 50s, like how the...
Bruh, I'm telling you, man, yo, it's like, it might be because I'm listening to The Godfather on tape, but it's like, yo, man, like, and like even parents meddling in fucking relationships and shit now. It's like, why is it like, I married you. Like, I get it, you married a family, or you're married to the family, but this is my fucking wife.
Yeah.
Like, why would... I hear dads be like, if something to my daughter. It's like, you should have raised her to not fuck losers. So now we don't have to deal with this shit.
Yeah, knock on wood. And not even knock on wood, man. I think we've done a good job with our kids. Our daughter's very responsible, and she actually just started dating. She's 19, about to be 20, and she's got a lot of self-respect, man. I was going to say about my wife, man. Luckily, I got a good one, man. She's a ride or die, man. She supports everything I do, always has.
How'd you meet her?
At the bar, working.
Were you beating someone up and she was like, get off my man?
It was everything that you think could fail. No one thought we were going to make it, I would imagine, because we met in a bar, we worked in a bar. So there's a lot of just shenanigans going on there. I fought. I was at strip clubs. I don't hang out at strip clubs, but doing a lot of like PR stuff and that. So I was around everything that would make a marriage fail, even just based on jealousy. And she's real centered, so she never really said anything about it. And then we got married after about being together, I think, for 10 months. We got married. We're going on 15 years. 420 actually is our
That's
anniversary.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
You know what I think it is?
Solid.
My theory on this one is you come from a good home.
I do, yeah.
Like there's some everything now that I'm old and I'm like looking at my life, like all of this stuff that I thought was lame in the 90s and shit growing up, like being well bred, like that really means some shit because I wasn't well bred and I didn't know how to I'm old as fuck, don't know how to have a relationship, you know? I mean, I'm learning, but
yeah, well, it's like, a process, man.
I've never seen grown-ups work it out. I seen like, what the fuck is this? And then like they split.
Yep.
You knew how to work it out.
I did, man. I have, like I said, my parents did. They showed me unconditional love, and that's the thing. No matter how much I got smacked around or cussed at or told whatever, I guess maybe maybe I did take things personally. I learned later in life how not to take everything at face value. Is like it's a little deeper meaning to things.
Yeah.
And then I learned too with my own because I had a relationship before my wife. I mean, I had a lot of relationships before my wife, so I went through it, and she knows about that too.
Right.
I went through my, whatever. But I had my son, our oldest son, with another lady who, she's just on another level, man. But anyway, I learned a lot of lessons from that relationship, but also the damage it does to a kid that has to endure that kind of shit all the time. Just constant arguing, man.
Yeah, bro.
And swearing. People just hate each other,
Yeah, man.
And keeping yourself in a situation for the betterment of the child. Well, you think for the betterment, like I want to be part of his life all the time. And I was a good dad, I fought for him. But that didn't do any good, man. All it does is breaks him down inside.
Remember that thing I said about like hitting the wife?
Yeah. Dude,
making sense now, ain't it? It's making sense. Like just that she got it on. Just said it's on deck. Like here, this is. Are you really gonna say that shit? Because I could just play the hit you card. Like this is what like I feel like that's the. I don't think you should. A good husband would never have to hit his wife, but it needs. What do we? What? Like no, I can't do it.
I'll tell you what. Well, it usually ends in killings. That's how marriages end. If they're divorced, you see this all the time where one's taking a lot of shit from the other, or they just hate each other, and then someone ends up killing someone else. Like, I mean, you can see how it can happen, though, man. That's the sick thing about it is that people not removing themselves from situations because we're in 100% control of everything that we do, right? Mm-hmm. People don't want to face it. Like everyone's a victim, right? Oh, this is holding me down. This is holding me back. I can't do this because of that. You're 100% control of your decisions. They're not always the ones you have to make.
Right.
Not ones that you want to have to make, but you have control of making those choices. And working, because we're like a pill we have the pill theory. Like, I want boom to happen now. I want this to happen now.
Yeah.
Not wait.
You know what a big problem is? We got farther away from farming.
Yes.
We don't understand that, like, you got to plant a seed, you got to grow that shit. Like,
that's a great analogy, man. It's true.
And you see it, right? And also, like, the ideas, right? It's like, yo, man, farmers, there is no, hey, man, that could have been, and if it wasn't for the oppression of the sun, like, yo, bro, either that shit works or it doesn't fucking work. And you can tell by, is there corn coming up? Like, that's it. Yep. There's a practicality there you still see it with immigrants, man. You can still see it like with like old school first generation. Like I got some Armenian homies, some Afghani homies. The motherfuckers they're like A or B. Does it work or does it not work?
No, you're right, man. Like you said with the farmers, accountability is key. Guess who's accountable? Them.
Yeah.
It worked or didn't because I fucked up or I made it happen. That was it. Yeah. And then you go back to the drawing board. If it doesn't, or try to figure out new tactics when we're not having sun or rain or there's droughts or there's locusts or whatever the fuck the case is. I mean, they've been through everything. That's how they survived, Now think about this shit. Think about this. I use this analogy I was talking to my wife. Somebody just sat on our porch, at least I'll be drinking or whatever. I'll be looking at the trash cans. I'm like, we are so weak as a civilization that if the trash men just didn't come and pick up the trash for a month, people wouldn't know what to do, man.
Yeah, man.
That's not even a survival thing. Right. That's just a cleanliness thing. Like, either you'd be lined up all week at the dump, the people that did want to move it, and everyone else would just be trying to figure out how they could put their trash someplace else and not really do anything about it because you wouldn't know how to deal with it.
Or remember there was there was a power outage in like Houston, and they were lighting fires in the crib because they didn't know how to fucking stove work, bro. Like, bro, they didn't know how to light a fucking stove, son.
Man,
it's frightening.
Natural selection, man. I'm telling you that when they did away with allowing natural selection to take its course, there is, man. I hate to sound like this, and I'm a man of faith, man. I just started recently, like, finding my walk with the Lord and my way, and,
good, man.
And I believe in. I've always been a good person, but
what made you find God? Because I just did too.
Did you? Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. Excuse my language.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, man? Mine wasn't. I hit no kind of bottom. It's just I'm like, man, I've been blessed in life. You know, and not like I was given everything. Because I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money. You know, we had to struggle for things. My dad was, worked, and we didn't have. Sometimes we always have food. Like, my dad made things happen.
Yeah.
We didn't always have. I watched other people thrive and had nice things.
That's kind of satanic, though, right? Like, think about it. Like, that's just shit. That's just stuff.
It's just stuff.
It's
man.
just stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's we're believe like. You had a good childhood because you had a mom and a dad that loved you, and you had discipline and you had support. That's it. You had a good childhood. Everything else is fucking bullshit, dog.
Yeah.
And we've been taught to believe that having things equals a good childhood.
It is, or a good life.
Yeah.
Or success. What the fuck are you gonna care about? Think you're on your deathbed. You think about how much money I made yesterday?
Be like, man,
no, man.
I'll be like, yo, I'm about to die. Put them Cardis on my face. Make sure I got my Gators. It's fucking like, yo, no, bro.
Nope. You think about all those people that you wish you would have mended your relationships with, probably any bridges you burnt, people that you wish were there that aren't, people that, you think about you think about the end of your life. You're not going to give a shit about all the things you have, man. You know what I mean?
So you got to God by seeing your blessings.
I did.
That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, I didn't want to wait, man. I've been lucky, man. I will say this. Either God, I do believe for whatever reason he wanted me to stay on this earth, man. I was very lucky in a lot of situations. I mean, just a variety of ways. But I had a rewind, man. It was almost like this epiphany. And it was a couple of different things, man. I noticed, first of all, a lot of people around me, they're going to God and they're quitting drinking. At least I still drink. But I'm like, good for you, man. I'm like, you obviously had something that you were struggling with. And all these people are finding this. I'm not like, I'm jumping on the wagon. But I was like, I was having the same thing happen at the same time. And you realize when you're focused on something, you start to tune into those things around you that people have probably been talking about all along, right? And I had this was crazy, man. I was at the gym, which I'm in the gym all the time, and this kid, this young black kid, was in the locker room, he boxed, and he saw me hitting the bag and stuff too, and he came up to me, man. It was like God speaks through people too. It's not like, I hear voices like if you're where you hear voices, I can't think of the term.
But I was driving thinking about justice and mercy. And in my first Bible study class that night, they sit down and my man's like, "We're going to talk about justice and mercy." That's you could say that's the universe, and you could say that's God. So I get what you're saying.
You're in tune, right?
Yeah.
But this kid, he started talking to me about. Could have been talking about boxing. He's like, the Lord, Jesus loves you, and the Lord is my savior. And I was like, what the fuck, man? I didn't say that, but I'm thinking to myself, I was like, dude, you want to talk either this dude just came in at the right time on the right day when I was in the right, like my mind was the right way, or God was speaking to me through this kid, man.
Well, think about it like this. It's got to be God, because no one in their fucking right mind is just going to walk up on a dude getting dressed being like, hey, man, Jesus loves you, man. I'll be like, yo, man, get the fuck away from me, dog.
Yeah.
Like, so I hear you. It's funny. I think... I think a lot of people are going because it's chaos, right? Or it's just stuff that just doesn't make sense, and like we're just trying to figure things out. Like I'm constantly trying to figure, like, what is this? It's like a new thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome that you got there on the good foot. Like man, I know, right? Because back in the day, like if a chick's period was late, I would pray to God. I don't believe in shit. I don't believe in fuck. Like I knew there was something, but like I'm not doing none of this shit. My dad was a fucking like commie type shit. But like, yo, man, I be in a pickle. If I'm in a bind, I'm in a motherfucker like, yo, bro, just get me the fuck out of this one, man. So yeah, I hear you. It better be. And I was just saying this in the last one, man. Like, if you really didn't believe in God, man, why not just go fucking? I would go have. Man, I'd be doing all the weirdest shit, man. Like, cause who cares?
People do though. Look at the things. I mean, and it's said in the Bible, man.
What?
You will be persecuted for your beliefs, man. And it is true. The more and more. Well, probably because of social media, we're privy to more information.
Yeah.
Overhaul of information and people's opinions and judgment, whatever. You can see it. You got people driving hard, man. Just all against anything.
Yeah, but
like being a Christian is like being a racist now. That you know.
Oh no, yeah, and it's like, yo, you don't even know that. Like, look up online how many Christians are getting fucking murdered around the world. Like, they're talking about, oh, it's a Holocaust or this is a genocide. Christians are getting fucking slaughtered all over the world, and that's that. But this is on a brighter note. I noticed that, and I think I brought this up before, but I want to tell you this because I noticed that that atheist women are ugly as fuck. Like, I was out in Hamtramck, which is like a hipster area, and these bitches look dumpy. They look like they just gave up. Like, fuck it. Like, they rolled out of bed and was just like, fuck it. They dress like 4-year-olds in a foster home. Like, that's what they look like. They look like 4-year-olds in a fucking foster home, and they gave up. And then I was at John 316 in Rochester. It's a Christian coffee place, and it was like, whoa, and all the girls were fucking put together, and like you could tell they didn't hate their dad. It was cool, bro.
Yeah, it's and I don't know, man. It's just it's a weird time to believe in anything, man. Really, but this is what I say. I will say this: a lot of Christians push people away, possible people that might be drawn to Christianity away by judgment, man. We're not supposed to judge. I'm not perfect.
No. We need to judge, man.
I'm fucked up,
we
man.
need judgment.
Well, to an extent, but it is God's. God is the one that makes the final decision.
Yeah.
But in order to draw someone in, you don't be like, well, you're fucked up and I know the way. I'm fucked up too.
Right,
you know what I mean? I'm fucked up, man. Well, like my thoughts I have to get under control. You know what I mean?
Well, if you look at any vice or sin, if you take it to its limit, it's doom. So it's but like me stabbing you is immediate, but like me fucking not appreciating something and lying, that's down the road doom. But either way, if you go down the line and let it play out, it's doom. That's why it's like you can't. You gotta be forgiving of other people's things. Yeah. I have a thought, and tell me what you think about this. I think, like you were saying, you don't like the marching people. You know, all the fucking complaining Greenpeace people, whatever the fuck they're called. Like, I think either an idea makes life. We're either making life or death. We're in a dualistic world. Right. So your idea if your idea doesn't equal making life, then it's a shitty fucking idea.
Yeah. I agree, man.
And Christianity, people ruin things.
They do.
So look at the idea before you attack it.
No, absolutely, man. I think too, if you looked at it from a more organic standpoint too, is say you just start with, say you're a shitty person. You start with the Bible and you're reading about the commandments, and it just says be a good person first, right? We can't be like Jesus. You can't be righteous, right?
Right.
But you can be a good person. Right? Treat people better. Treat people good. Love thy neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Don't kill, first of all. Don't kill anyone. And respect God. But this is our problem. Like, egotistical people, man. Everyone's got an ego, so no one can be, man, that's bullshit. God wants me to love him and worship him. It's like, man, he's a motherfucking creator. It's just like, right? That's the way to put it. Like your parents, man. Respect your parents. They created you.
Here's something else to think about too, though. We don't know what good is, and we don't like. They got this shit called like. You ever see like if I see someone that says be kind, I run the fuck away from them because I know that they will try to take my everything if I'm not their idea. You know what I mean? Like
I just did.
Yo, but that's what I mean. My thing is this: is we don't know. I think some people think that if enabling is kind. Some people think that co-signing your fucking dumbass idea is kind. Yeah. And it's we've lost the path. We need to get back to like be just, you know, like or be consistent or and like sometimes my kindness is gonna be like, I'm sorry, you have to die. I can't feed. Like you're gonna die. Yo, or you're sorry. You gotta like fuck off.
Right. Well, what good are you doing something that you just give everything to? You're weakening them even more, right?
Yeah.
You tell someone, you're like, look, man, I love you, but I'm not helping you anymore. I'm not gonna give you anything. Let's put you that way, right? Like my kids, for instance, and obviously you love your kids. You should love your kids. Some people don't love their kids, but like you teach them, give them tools to put in their tool belt. So government says when you're 18, you're an adult. I know you're not mature enough at 18 to make choices, but you're old enough to go to prison, old enough to go and go into the military, you're old enough to do a lot of things. You're responsible for your own life as far as the government's concerned. So that means, as far as I'm concerned, you're going to start making choices. I'll always be there to help you, and I'm always there for my kids, but I expect you to absorb these things that you've learned, right? Important things, man, like simple things, just how to gain employment, how, punctuality, how to be respectful of other people, hold the door, say thank you. You know what I mean? Like these are simple things that can carry you far in life, man. Just being a decent person.
Well, what that does is you're training the child to think about its surroundings and then consider those surroundings. Yeah. So it's to be thoughtful, and that increases the intelligence of the child too. So one plays off of the other. If I'm just walking around not paying attention to shit, that means I'm like not thinking about as much shit.
Right.
This is the only thing. This is like my push. It's not even pushback, because you look at these great fucking societies, and more was expected and more was given. Even this fucking 18-year-old shit. Oh man, it's not the kids. Not like hey man. Fucking Alexander the Great took over a whole fucking thing. He spread heroin. He's like dropping poppy seeds all over the fucking place. Yeah. Like he did that at 18, and now like when'd you start working?
I started working when I was 11.
Thank you, bro. That's what I'm saying. We're dealing with 24-year-olds that never done shit. You did more at 11, so I think we need to be harder on ourselves.
Yeah. Well, look at these kids. Like, and I don't know, everyone's got their own parenting methods. I don't agree with it. Like, the kids just throw tantrums. Just let them get it out. Bullshit. Because this is why. Look at the shit that carries through. They were 5 doing it. Now they're 15 doing it. Yeah. Now they're 25 doing this shit. They didn't learn how to not throw tantrums, man. That's a problem.
And this is the thing too. It's like we're in such an we're so self-absorbed right now. And these ideas that sound like these nice Christian ideas, hey, don't be judgmental. Look, man, your shitty parenting is going to affect me personally when I got to deal with your asshole kids.
Yeah.
It's like we're all participating in this together. Yeah. God knows motherfuckers make demands.
Yeah.
They make tons of demands of me. And then I look, I'm like, well, how you raising your fucking kid?
Yeah.
How many fucking baby dads you got? Why is this child why is this child telling you what he's gonna eat at 4 years old? What type of person are you gonna deal with, man?
I know, no, you're right. And like I said, I'm not saying people don't judge, because we do. You can't. I judge people all the time in my head.
Yeah, man.
I try not to let it out of my mouth.
Right.
But I do, I do believe people have to prove themselves to me in a certain way, man. I'm not gonna mistreat you just because I don't maybe like you from what I don't know about you. But I do agree with what you're saying 100%, man, with the kids, and it's for the kids' safety too. Think about this shit. Yeah. You grew up in the suburbs acting like a little motherfucker, man, just doing whatever you want, saying whatever you want, whoever. The city's not that far away.
Yeah, bro.
Guess what happens when you try that shit there to fucking kids who did not get away with that shit and grew into teenagers who didn't get into that shit, and then their lives go astray. You're in different worlds, man. Yeah. It's a safety issue.
The other thing too is like motherfuckers act like people don't commute no more. Like these motherfuckers are fucking going. They're coming to you. They're like, hey, talk some shit.
Easy up this way to take shit,
bro.
Man.
Yeah,
whatever
bro.
you want. Just, respect even.
Yeah.
Not just like stealing. I'm saying taking respect.
Yeah.
Like everyone wants the king of the streets, man. Especially if you weren't the king of the streets in your old neighborhood. Now you come somewhere else, like, damn.
You know, it's funny.
nothing.
Like, it's funny you say that, right? Because you know how many fucking bar fights and fist fights I've been in out in public.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
You know why? And it's not even like I'm going out like a bitch or no shit like
Yeah.
that. I just there's been a couple times where I'm like, I'm gonna eat this one, but it's just having respect. Oh, excuse me. You don't fucking talk out the side of your neck to people. It's amazing. And I've been in fucking every situation. I've been everywhere, bro. And hey, here I am. And it's just about having respect, knowing how to carry yourself and being aware.
Yep, no, 100, man. And there's better ways to deal with that. I even tell my own kids, I was a fighter, man. I don't want my kids to be fighters. It's a hard way to live your life, for one thing. Not everyone can be as positive maybe as I was through things. A bad night's a bad fucking night, man. When you get your ass kicked, you rethink things, you know what I mean? And some people might bring down or fucks with your confidence or whatever. Your face is fucked up. You're hurt. You made almost no money and wondering, why am I doing this? But it's principle. And principles will take you a hell of a lot further in life than money will.
Bro.
And that's what I tell my kids, man. Make good decisions and respect people. And there's better ways when you you reason with people as long as you can try to reason. And then unreasonable people, you have to take different methods. But it's a last resort. You know what I mean?
The other thing too is what I'm learning is like you can't take a person's behavior you can't take another person's shitty behavior personally because they're not even thinking about it, and you still got to deal with these cats along the way. So you just got to know what to expect from them and then treat them accordingly.
But you're saying it, man. You've been in all these situations, as have I, and you've probably been in more than me in a lot of cases. You know, just based on maybe where you've been that I haven't, or where
I just traveled.
Yeah, me too. But so I don't know how many situations. I mean, my memory's bad though too, man. I've been in different countries and stuff where I probably wasn't getting out of control though.
Right.
But when you run into a variety of people in a variety of places with a variety different culture shock and all these things, you learn a lot of stuff, man. You learn how to conduct yourself in a way that demands respect.
Yep.
Without having to be like, I'm gonna beat your ass. That's all you respect. It's like, man, listen, because I'll tell people like, you're making a bad decision right now. I was telling that like, this is a bad choice.
Let me ask you something, because there's how many times we walk around in life I had to think about this myself because somebody was talking shit to me, and I could have just ruined their whole fucking. They would have been on suicide watch, and I just was like, How many times did you let somebody live, and they didn't even know it?
Well, most of the time, man. Like I there's very few times that I have to pull the trigger, man. There's been a few times, probably drinking way too much, and I probably would have lost if I wasn't as mentally strong, or probably just stupid, you know.
Right.
Like where I took some lumps, but no one, you know, I'm still alive. No one was like gang beat me. I didn't have to. Help me.
Like there's been dudes like and you're just like, all right, man.
And I'll tell them because they think
they're
they put themselves in situations where dudes will do that back.
Yeah.
And I don't. I'll be like, listen, man. And it's like, you know, like the stare, man. Like, listen,
you got them crazy eyes too, bro.
Yeah, but it's as serious because I'm uncomfortable, man. Like people, I do not like confrontation at all. What you would think I would, I do not. And when I feel like you're threatening me or you're trying to like check me, then it starts making me angry, man. And I'm like, I don't like to feel like that. And being angry makes me angry, if that makes any sense. Like I'm a happy person.
I feel like we're kindred spirits, man. I feel like we're kindred spirits, man. It's funny the people that it goes back to the thing like you're afraid of fighting or something like that. Why? Because you don't like confrontation. Yeah. That doesn't go away. Yeah. Like you're not liking confrontation doesn't go away. You just train yourself to deal with it. Yeah. I was the same way, man. Like I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
Like I got in an argument with that dude. Like I left out fucked up. I drove home muttering. I'm like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck was that? Like I like blindside. Like you know, usually when you pick a fight, you know, like where did that come from? Like so I'm right there with you, man. Like it's funny. It's. I think Mike Tyson was the same way. He just
scared, man. Yeah, dude. Mike Tyson's story. I've read his autobiography. I watch all of his documentaries. I listen to like his little clips and shit. Even when he flipped out, it's always came back to him being scared as a kid, getting fucked with someone killing his pigeon.
Right.
It was always something that went back to his childhood that drove him, and he figured if he was the aggressor first, especially when he boxed. If he was the aggressor first and could find a chink in their armor, he could put him away without getting hurt. Right. He was always worried about getting hurt, man. You look at him, he was like a grown-ass man at like 13 years old. How can Mike Tyson be scared? Man, everyone's got something. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. That's how you know something's wrong. If you never have any fear of anything, you know what I mean?
And every hardship, real talk, every hardship is really like it's a blessing. Like every hardship has been a fucking blessing. Sometimes it takes a year, 2 years.
Yeah,
I got my ass whipped by the cops, and it taught me to shut the fuck up. Like I was all sad and mad about it, and this is unjust, and they just let this. I didn't get no money out of it or nothing. I ended up having to, getting fucked up. Like I can't go into Canada now, man. Those fuckers. But like, that ass whooping taught me shut the fuck up. Like whoever has the gun has the authority.
Yeah.
Now whoever has the camera has the authority.
Like,
so
Mounties are tough as hell, man.
No, I got beat out. It was in Pontiac, but they wouldn't let me back over. Just go Canada. Oh yeah. Yo, let me. What's just to. This is called Coffee and Tea because it's about it's kind of about rituals, man. And so was there a ritual? Tell me a ritual that you do, maybe before the fight or before the day or.
Man, I'm a routine person, right? So, fight day was just relax, man. I was always big in trying to.
How do you relax?
Try to just stay calm, man. I didn't work out. I didn't run. I barely warmed up before a fight. I mean, I was get warm, but I didn't hit a lot of hit pads. You see some of these guys getting all crazy and stuff. I maybe did in the beginning, but I learned how to keep my pulse low and just try to think through the fight. Because I'll tell you, man, I wasn't scared to fight. But the most nervous I ever was in every single fight from the beginning till the end of my career was the time with staging when you're backstage getting ready to come out in front of the crowd and then getting into the cage. Once you started getting going, I was good. But
are you like flow state then? Is that once you get in there?
I don't know. Like what am I doing?
Right.
I have 43 pro fights, man. By fight number 43, I kind of lost the fire by then, so I didn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Then, but I was like, man, this is another. Here we go again, man. And I really didn't want to be there for the last one. You
was checked out, huh?
Yeah, you lose that. That fire turns to a flicker, and the flicker blows out, and that's how I knew it was time to change. It took me years. What I was going to get into? I still like to throw. Detroit Fire Department, man. I just want to fight blazes.
Man, that city stays on fire, man.
Man, that would have been my dream then. I'm glad it didn't work out. Like my body fell apart between the time I was 38 to 48 now. But
and now you do. I could ask you all about real estate. Really, I had so many questions on that, but this is better. This is better. Tell me, do you have any fucking weird bad habits or tics or anything like that?
Bad habits.
Like for instance, go ahead.
Well, one again, back to the book and back to just some of my things is empathy. I have a hard time. Sometimes I have a really hard time putting myself into someone else's shoes, but it more comes down to sympathy. When I'm sympathetic to people I feel like need it, but I'm not sympathetic to people that want it. So it's a weird thing, man, and I'm not saying it's right, but I guess that is where I felt like my upbringing was a certain way. I told
if somebody wants sympathy, that they're coming to you like this,
like victim mentality, and I'm not down for that. You know what I mean? And even my kids, I teach them don't be a victim, man. Like you gotta be accountable, man, for everything. So that I would say I don't know if that's what you're talking about. That's that's a personal.
So that's your thing.
Yeah, that's a trait.
I was gonna say, I always got to drive around the block to make sure my door's locked because I'm a fucking man. Dude. I'm like, did you lock the door? Did you lock the door? Did you?
I'm crazy. I go through a whole thing at night because my wife, they all depend on me, my whole family, right?
Yeah.
Which you would think they would want to check to make sure I'm doing the things I do, but they trust me. So sometimes my wife will be the last one up. The door's unlocked. The shades are open. I do all these. I shut the shades. I lock the door. Dogs go out. I shut the shades, so there's closing the door, the sliding door. I shut the shades of the window. I check the back door. I check the side door. I take my vitamins every single night, man. Brush my teeth, swish my mouthwash, let the dogs in. I go down, check my phone one more time for business, set my alarm, get ready to get up at 4:30.
When's your birthday?
July 3rd. My wife's is July 4th, so it's easy to remember.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. But
you're a Cancer.
Yeah, we're both Cancers, man. And I'm not
you a sensitive dude, man.
Yeah, I actually am, man. You wouldn't think so by looking at me. And I really do only have a couple of emotions, man. I'm either happy or I'm angry. And occasionally I get upset about things and I'm like, well, you're a bitch, man. Why are you upset? But I'm starting to come to terms with it and loving people. That was another thing. I learned how to love myself without being a narcissist.
Well, bro, that's probably why you beat yourself up. I hate to say it, but I'll be into that shit. And the funny thing is like I got my buddy's a cancer, and if he gets drunk and wrongs, like does something stupid, sometimes I can't even say it because it just turns into a whole nother, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm like, bro, all I just wanted you to do is not put your foot on the thing. We've been talking about it for 20 fucking minutes now, man. I imagine you got a very nice home though. Like,
yeah, it's chaos, man. We're crazy. I will say that, man. My wife and I, we're both very, we're loud. And like we both have a short wick, but we're good with each other. Like we know when to just leave things alone, so we don't fight, man. I'm not kidding. People think I'm full of shit. I don't care. I live my life. I know what it is. My wife and I never fight.
Bullshit.
We bicker. I swear to God, man. Yeah, I know, right? We bicker. Like, we've been 16 years together, 15 married. But it's like, man, we learned. I guess we learned. I'm no relationship expert, obviously. I'm a kid with someone else who's crazy.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, if you've been married for 15 years, you're doing better than and got three good kids. You're a fucking expert, better than these motherfuckers. I know an expert who likes to give her daughter a lot of drugs and beat the brakes off of that shit. And that's what that expert produced.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying I make a lot of mistakes too, man. I'm not a perfect parent, I'm not a perfect husband, but
I like your humility.
We have a good flow, man, and we vibe, and it's been great, man. And like I said, I gotta plug my real estate. Is that this is one thing? Dog. This is the crazy turnaround, man. I went from being a fighter who I wanted to intimidate people to like me to going back to my original nature of being nice to people and wanting to negotiate in a way that everyone's happy. It's a win-win. It's from the book too. Win-win, right? And being happy, man, every day. I love what I do. So it's not even like work, man. And I know real estate gets there's a lot of jokes. It's hilarious.
Nah,
and
man.
There's a lot of there's just a lot of us.
Well,
man.
Shit, I gotta sell my mom's house, so there you go. You're my guy.
Yeah, I brought cars. Don't put it on social media, man. You get just ambushed with fucking everyone you don't even know, man.
I'm never on social media.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking Satan, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is the devil.
But again, discipline wise, man, because this is something I have to discipline myself. Don't read comments, man. I'm so much happier if I just look at my videos, I read the posts that I like, and just don't read the comments, because there's always, and I know why I'm looking at it, because I'm like, man, I know one motherfucker is gonna say something, like, boom, I knew it.
Yeah.
And then it's stirring things up.
Then you're having an imaginary fucking fight in your head over dinner, and your wife's like, what's wrong? And you're like, some guy with this icon that looked like this, and he said that that house was pretty crummy, and I know that house wasn't crummy. We'll put all of this stuff on a official. On a beep, but you say it so for people that listen to, because it's an audio as well.
Oh yeah, so my real estate brand.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, so Brendan Seguin Realtor. Remember the name? That's my catch line. I got good because you don't remember. And I remember the name. I use that track for all my little posts that I use illegally, probably, but no one knows me.
No one's listening.
Phone number 586-206-7847. Website BrendanSeguin.innetworkrealestate.com. And I work for Keller Williams, Paint Creek, and I'm an in-network real estate team. I don't know what I do, man. I love it.
Look, bro.
What else can I say?
You didn't have to say all that. You were doing a job interview that whole fucking time.